Hello and welcome to episode 157, I think, of the Veeam Make That 158 of the Veeam Community Recap. I am back in normal circumstances, and Madalina has gone on the go this week. Hopefully doing a little bit better after being under the weather. But Maddie, how are you? And where are you?
Hello, Rick. Hello, community. I am doing well. Thank you. I'm doing much better than last week when we recorded for sure. Um, and guess what? I'm back to Germany, Frankfurt, for the VUG Germany event that we have tomorrow. So this is super exciting because I'm going to get to meet some people in the community. But yeah, other than that, good to be on the go again.
Yeah, it's a bummer that it didn't work out when we were there. Because I went to one last week in Boston. I guess I might share kind of an added special department on that. But the timing just didn't work out. I've got a personal holiday this week, so the Germany trip could have been this week, which would have been a lot better because we wouldn't have had strikes and everything getting in the way of our travel. But it just didn't work out. But no, hopefully that goes good. I think it's tomorrow, right?
Yes,
We're
it is
recording on
tomorrow.
Wednesday. Yeah.
I got myself a hotel next to the venue, so this is great. It should work out. The weather
Nice.
is pretty. It's actually sunny, which is surprising because last week it wasn't that great, if you remember it. Like the
Yeah,
week when we were here.
it was a rough week in
Yeah.
total. Much less the weather wasn't any help or such of it. But yeah, so let's jump into it. And I'm going to add a tab on special department here. So I'll show you a little trick to everybody. But let's jump up first with our actual featured reasonable amount of content to focus. And we're going to start with Chris. It's coming up on World Backup Day. His special edition of server and drive numbers caused chaos. It's a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. Initially we kind of wanted to make it all about the World Backup Day because our community shared a lot of great content. But then we said, like, let's kind of mix a little bit and just pick and choose some. So we decided for this one, Chris, you're the lucky one. You are in for the March Blog of the Month special edition. And yeah, Chris is telling us actually a funny, but not that funny story at that moment, I think, because he
Hmm.
got fired on those mistakes. So I don't think it was funny at that point. But as he says, sometimes, like a mistake can teach you some great lessons. So I totally agree on that. So here we go. He has his first job in IT as a system administrator at a small law office in downtown Toronto. One day, when he was doing his daily routine, apparently he checked in the server room and noticed like an amber light on one of the drives in the server. And obviously, his knowledge on things was limited. It was kind of his first job. The like the concept of the hard drives, as he says, starting at zero, not one, was not something familiar to him. So he did call for assistance and reported the light, but he did not confirm all the details of that procedure. Probably he got scared, he got lost in the process, and he assumed like some things. So that's how he kind of he committed that mistake. He lost the data, and obviously that costed his job. And like as he said, if the company had a data backup, because the company did not have a data backup at that point, like Veeam solution in place, he could have had recovered all that, and of course keep his job. And that's a really good story. Actually, really enjoyed it. Really funny. Now,
Hmm.
so thank you for sharing it. Appreciate your tip at the end. Ensure you pull the right drive, and if not, make sure you have Veeam backups. Really like that. Really cool.
This is a fantastic story, Chris. I remember also my first IT job. I remember distinctly the CIO. I reported directly to the CIO of a big company with like a lot of divisions that had field IT, but we needed something in the office. I was mainly just doing like PC and server stuff for the head office, which was pretty small. But we spent so much time talking about backup. And so I started a very different way where I learned this and hardware. I'm saving it for the live stream. Saving, we'll talk about that here in a second, but I got a hardware story. And Chris, mine was really close to this, but it went the other direction. But thank you for sharing these stories, Chris. It's fantastic. Another story from Maurice,
Yeah.
how no backup did not save someone's bacon. Oh boy, this one might not end well. What you like here?
I mean, it ended up well for Maurice, actually. And yeah, they managed to actually get the data back in this case. But yeah, I love the title. Thank you, Maurice, for sharing this story with us. We haven't mentioned you in the recap in a very long time, so good to have you back. So Maurice in here is also sharing like a story from long time ago for the World Backup Day Blog of the Month Special Edition. And his story ends up with a firing too, but in this case, it's not him. He actually got kind of, I don't know, promotion. He was a programmer and he got the sysadmin position. So an exchange, I guess, of, like of position. So uh, what he's talking about here is like the sysadmin that was at that time in charge made some mistakes while replacing a RAID controller on a faulty server. And Maurice gets the sysadmin position. It seems like lost data was recovered in this case. So, yeah, actually, you went to exactly the paragraphs that are important in there that he mentions if you can go back there he mentions and just go back. Yeah,
Which
no,
yeah,
that one. The machine where he says the machine was built, like the machine was built with a RAID 1 for OS and RAID 10 for data, and the engineer decided to break it. Like what did they do?
yeah, yeah,
Like
right.
to
That is
have
the
back.
that is
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I meant. Like
exactly.
no, it's not a backup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. And then he's explaining, he says, like, you should know that most RAID controllers store metadata about the RAID set on the disk, and by deleting it, the RAID set, the metadata gets deleted, and obviously the data as well. And then what I like the most in here is like, at the end, he says, like, listen, I'll tell you, I'll give you some tips and tricks on how to back up like a boss. you know and here he says like RAID is not a backup to start with, and even though your backup might cause issues on a machine, never disable the backup. Having to reboot a server a couple of times a week is way less than no data, right? So that's good as well. And then test your backup is really important. Test it multiple times, because once is not a test. So this is really, really great, I think, advice in here. And he's even telling us what capabilities to use, so I think that's really great. Thank you, Maurice, for sharing that. It's a funny story. It ended up good in his case, but not that good for that sysadmin. But it's a learning process again.
And I know exactly where this problem was born, right? I remember there was a time where you actually could do this, but it had to be a very specific configuration. But yeah, I'm saving that for the stream. So real similar story in the sense of the hardware got in the way. Great story, Maurice. And I think whenever anybody starts strong with something where backups either saves the day or teaches you a lesson, it actually then becomes really critical to the ongoing. So great story. Thank you for sharing, Maurice. All right, next up, J Mex Joe, up with the series again here on data backups chapter 11. It's basically a book he's got going on in here.
Oh yeah.
Importance of malware detection. Good timing post 12.1. Wow, this is fantastic, I think, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we kind of drop the rest of the stories that we were considering, regarding the contest that we have for the blog of the month, March. And we decided, as I said at the beginning, to just kind of match and mix a bit. So a great story in here. We have been discussing a lot about this topic in our recaps, even last week, 2 weeks ago, some posts from Shane. But honestly, I think this is so important, taking in consideration all types of the new cyber attacks that are getting sneakier and more difficult to detect. And I feel like this subject is always welcome to be brought into discussion. The bad actors are getting better and better at infiltrating on the backup system through compromised network connections, infected devices, malicious email attachment, as Johan mentions in there. And of course, the threat is always there. And like backing up infected data from production system, he says it in the second paragraph, I believe. Attacks, where is that? Yeah, attacks through malware inside the backup data. He says like it's just another way for bad guys to get to your data, and this is really dangerous actually. And it is crucial to have a process in place and some like some good best practices that you regularly follow up. And talking about malware detection, in ensuring the resilience of backup solutions. And in this article, Johan is discussing mainly real-time scanning techniques, the periodic scannings, updates to identify and contain potential threats in a prompt manner, so it's a really good article in here with a lot of good practices. So I kind of enjoyed it. Thank you for that, Johan.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I mean, again, and the best part is Johan's talking about high level principles. I mean, Veeam implements basically all of these, which is great. But I think this is a really good way to kind of just think of, you know, and Jay probably uses multiple backup products or, has different disciplines across his, he works for a pretty big org. So this is really good information. And again, for those of you who don't know, there's the series over here. And if you go, this is chapter 11, but if you go to chapter 2, it'll probably then give you some other chapter. Here's chapter 1, there's chapter 5. Okay, so you can really just do the journey here. Uh, Great series, JMX. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, so that's 3. Yes, I still have several more tabs.
But we
We
are
are
not
now,
breaking the rule.
this is
This
special
is
department news. Yes, yes, yes. All right, Thursday the 28th, not World Backup Day because it's on a Sunday, a holiday at that. So we can't quite land the plane right on time there, but we will be doing a stream. We're going to have myself, Maddie, Tyler, and Derek. This is going to be fun. We're going to talk about these kind of things that might go wrong and some of the stories, right? So I've got my story I'll bring up. I don't know. There's some pretty good stories shared. I might have to up my game a little bit, but
you
I'm looking
should.
forward to this. It'll
You
be fun.
should. Yeah,
We've
I
already
think it's
got
gonna be
actually,
fun, and the guys
yeah.
are super excited about it, and they prepare some good stories. So really
Yeah,
cool.
and for those of you, this we're going to talk about a couple other like Veeam community events. This one will be quad streamed live on 4 platforms. It'll be on YouTube, X, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. All 4 right here where I'm at. Couldn't remember that one. It'll be quadcasted on these 4 streams. So these are fun. We always get a really good attendance with the community ones and engagement. So hopefully we can break the record again. So that's awesome. All right. So here's the one I added, Maddie, and this is not in the plan, but I went to the Boston user group. I had a pretty good turnout, and I did what I call meeting tweeting. Well, I wasn't presenting, which is I love going somewhere and not having to be on,
Are you
but
sure you like that?
well,
Because you do like presenting.
Well, here's the thing. Well, but I liked also taking in, but I just couldn't help myself. After everything that Emily or Greg did, I'll be like, oh, comment. I'd have a comment and I just add something. And
There you go.
I'm all the way in the back of the room. There's Safiomo and a couple others. I think I was recording last week right before, if I remember right. Yeah, first thing they talked about, but I basically, started with some of the notes. We talked about Shane's malware detection. I shared a pro tip here about the exclusions and stuff. We talked about a couple of the KB articles, right? So I will try every time I go somewhere, and to challenge Maddie, if you can as well for the Germany one, do a meeting tweeting. Just kind of roll the notes
That's
of how
gonna
it
be
goes.
quite challenging.
Yeah, we'll see what
But
you can
yeah,
do.
I
Yeah.
can do some pictures. I can just do like maybe a small overview, or I can do something better. I can ask Fabian because he's gonna
There
be
you
there.
go. There
I
you
can
go.
ask Fabian to do
Yeah,
it for me.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I've thought this was a good way to kind of bring everyone there. So I wanted to just bring that to everyone's attention. All right. Next up, Zane and Joe for in the US, both VUG leaders, are going to hold an online AMA. Interesting concept here. This is coming up, let's see, next week on Tuesday. I'll be in a cave in Kentucky. I can't join, but this is going to be a cool one. I think this is nice.
I think so as well, because it's just different. It's not just like a presentation as we usually do on the virtual events. So this is going to just be open discussion. So I think it's going to be very interesting. Both of these guys are super knowledgeable, have a lot of experience from the field. So yeah, I think everyone like that, had some questions, should kind of join it, and don't be shy. Just ask, get
And
involved.
I'm just going to make an assumption here. Even though we say it's USA West, really, basically anybody could attend. I think it's fair to
Absolutely,
say. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Zane, for committing the time to do that. Next up, this guy named Jeff is doing sustainable edge systems and using food tech, crazy stuff. So,
Oh my God, I love it. I
Jeff
absolutely
made a
love it.
friend with Sergio at Yalo. Y'all, I don't know if I'm pronouncing Yalo or Yalo right, but this is really interesting. This is it's like a use case scenario of sorts. This is cool.
Yeah, so this is a very different concept. Jeff has this special guest, Sergio Mendez, who is a DevOps at YOLO. And he wrote a book as well, as you can see, that is called Edge Computing Systems with Kubernetes. And they will basically discuss on the book, and basically they're going to discuss the fundamental components necessary for edge computing and sharing how these systems contribute to environmental sustainability. So I kind of love this. I'm looking forward to this one. They will also touch on CNCF, and then they will explain how to create sustainable systems for the food industry, also called food tech. And Sergio, at the end, apparently, is also working with students to clean rivers using edge computing and cloud native
Wicked.
technologies. I
This
mean,
is
this
cool.
this show, I'm just honestly really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be super good, and I shared it with our team as well. Hopefully more people are going to register, because anyway, it's going to be available on YouTube later.
Yeah, I'd love to attend it, but I have a meeting with an analyst at that time. But I will watch the replay on this one.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Thank you, Jeff. This is the greater good. I mean, this is fantastic. Also, Jeff, I'm going to go rogue. Congratulations, Jeff and his colleagues at Object First. They have launched the ACES program, kind of a top level influencer type program that watching an early company get into that is really fantastic. So congratulations, Jeff, and the whole Object First team. That's fantastic. All right, last up is, I may have shown this one. I can't remember where I've shown this one, but I've talked about this one. But I want to bring everyone's attention to KB 4555 and Veeam Data Cloud, one of the newest offerings for backup as a service, for software as a service from Veeam. Just want to let everyone know that the next level of the integration of that technology into the Veeam stack has happened. And the KBs now are going into the Veeam KB article, and they're also in Help Center, right? So this offering is very Veeamified at this point. So just want to draw y'all's attention to that. So thank you, Martin Nippern, and the whole team that's doing some amazing things with this on the R&D side. All right, we ready for Who's New?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, we are at plus 88 for the week, and a couple of good names in here. I think I'll draw my attention to Raph. That's cool. I like, let's see, there's one over here that I thought was Brock Butler. That's cool. Keith PWS, Jonah, Kenneth 123. That's cool. So, Saravana, those are just cool names. CPS Now, that's cool. OS 600, that's pretty cool. RPD, it's funny. I was talking with an analyst last week. It's crazy. If you think about RPG, there's still incredible demand for that. But anyways, welcome everyone. V Bermudez, that's cool. And then, well, just a random cow. There it is. Okay. So Sophia has picked out the coolest usernames to be Brock Butler, Vincent Vegas, and iTobe and Melee. Is that how I roll that one? Let us know.
Hopefully, yeah.
Mela, could be either way. But anyways, welcome those four. And then who's getting a badge out of this one? The Data Defender. That's a good one.
Of course.
I like that.
The Data Defender is getting it.
Going to fit right in here. That's awesome. So big welcome, everyone. And then again, 88 people new, healthily above that 20,000 mark. And, it's awesome to watch it grow, Maddie. And then new people come and new people engage. And, it's really interesting because we look at, some of the numbers and the engagement and stuff. And it's like some people come in hot and start, and, then we, the legends are the ones that, persist, engage continually. Persist sounds bad, but it's just really awesome to see everyone grow. And man, it's getting big.
It is. And I don't think it's scary. It's good. It's good to see it growing. It's good to see how we are helping the community to grow, like like the community members as well, because we've seen well, I've been 2 years with Veeam.
This month, yeah.
I've already, this month, March, I've already seen a lot of these people, that have changed positions, and they have grown in their industry, and they, step out of their comfort zone, and they are comfortable speaking on virtual events. And they were not. Some of them, like they don't have first language like English. They would be like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable speaking in English. And now they do. They are like, yeah, let's do it. And this is amazing to be able to see that.
Yeah, it is. I've got countless examples of the Veeam touch, whether it's the community or the programs, to help people kind of get to those next levels. That's truly the most rewarding part of our community stuff. All right, Maddie, next week, are you back in normal circumstances? Maybe
I am. And I think you are on vacation next week. I have a feeling.
I think we can record on Thursday, but I won't know till Wednesday, if that makes any sense. Because I don't want to try recording from the cave. That's just not going to go well. I don't want to try early because, so I think if we go a day late, I'll be back Thursday. I might have to do it from home, but we'll see. So who knows what next? Well, and then that'll be after that'll be the week of World Backup Day. So we have our stream on the Thursday, because I know I'll be set and ready for that, but only time will tell.
Next week. It's actually next week. Yeah. On Thursday.
Yeah. So I have to be ready for that, but the recap we usually do a day before the stream. So we'll figure it out. So I think I'll go for Thursday, but I'll worry about that next week. All right. Thanks, Maddie. Great list of content this week.
Absolutely. My pleasure as always, Rick.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and we will see you just after World Backup Day.